When it comes to dangerous animals, there are some that stand out above the rest. Take the stonefish, for example. This fish is not only deadly, but also has a rather unusual way of hunting its prey. And to make matters worse, they can even turn your skin to stone. We'll tell you more about this weird fish later in the video. But first, let's take a look at what these mysterious creatures actually are. In fact, there are many different types of stonefish. All of them belong to the genus Synanceia. There are about 30 species of this fish, all of which are found in the coastal waters of the Indian and Pacific Oceans. These fish prefer shallow waters, usually no deeper than 20 meters. They usually hide among rocks or coral reefs. One of the most common types of stonefish is the yellow boxfish. It got its name because it often forms a box around itself by moving its pectoral fins. In addition, this type of stonefish has a very bright color, so it's easily recognizable. These fish are usually no larger than 15 centimeters. Of course, compared to other fish, they aren't that big, which means that they have quite a few natural enemies. However, don't think for a second that this makes them harmless. After all, they do have one very powerful weapon up their sleeves. All stonefish have venomous spines on their head and tail. If you accidentally touch them, you can go blind or even die. But these creatures can sting you in another way too. As we mentioned earlier, stonefish often hide among rocks and corals. And when a potential predator gets too close to them, they use their pectoral fins to make a box around their body. In this position, they practically become one with their surroundings, making it almost impossible for someone to notice them. Even if the predator decides to take a closer look, the stonefish can scare it away with its poisonous spines. But sometimes this defense isn't enough. In this case, the stonefish resort to a different trick. As soon as the predator gets close enough, the stonefish releases a special mucus. This substance quickly hardens, turning into a kind of stone shell. And after that, the fish remains motionless, pretending to be a piece of rock. This unusual ability is where the fish's nickname, the stonefish, comes from. By the way, some scientists believe that it was this ability that caused the ancient Greek myth about the Gorgon Medusa to come about. According to legend, she could turn people to stone with just one look. Perhaps the ancient Greeks learned about this ability from fishermen who came across stonefish. It's worth noting that these fish aren't totally harmless even to humans. Even the smallest stonefish has enough poison to kill a person. And yet, these fish aren't aggressive by nature. That is, they won't suddenly attack a person in the water. Only when they're directly touched do they resort to using their weapons. And even then, their spines are triggered only when the fish feels a direct impact. So if you see a stonefish, you can safely take a picture of it and even touch it if you're careful enough. But remember that if you accidentally touch it, or the fish accidentally stings you, you'd better get out of the water as fast as you can. Otherwise, you might not make it out at all. So, how do stonefish work? To answer this question, researchers from Australia's James Cook University decided to conduct an experiment. They took several stonefish and injected them with a fluorescent marker. Then they released them into the wild and waited. A little later, the scientists returned to the place where they'd released the fish, and their jaws literally fell to the ground. The stonefish had managed to completely disappear. They somehow managed to camouflage themselves among the rocks and corals to such an extent that it was simply impossible to spot them. The scientists concluded that stonefish can change the texture of their skin. Apparently, they can do this with the help of special cells. When needed, they make their skin rough, like that of a pufferfish. Thanks to this, the stonefish perfectly camouflages itself among the stones and pieces of coral. And since it doesn't move while waiting for its prey, it becomes practically invisible to predators and humans alike. And what do you think? Have you ever heard of stonefish before? Do you know of any other unusual fish? Be sure to leave your answers in the comments below. And don't forget to like this video and subscribe for more.